Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're going to be breaking down the Azur Lane Commanders and World of Warships Legends. They're back in the store. So I'm just going to go over all of them. I'll give you my thoughts on their inspiration, on their actual build, and hopefully that allows you guys, or gives you the info you need to decide whether you want to pursue these. How do you get them? Go over here in the store tab here. You can get these bundles, which are pricey, no doubt. Or if you want to just try your luck with these crates, a little bit more manageable, not cheap by any means, but a little bit more manageable. This gold one here, you got the first batch, Otago, Belfast, Dunkirk, Hipper, Hood, and Nelson. And then this purple one was the second batch of them that's come out so far. Scharnhorst, Craftsby, Fuso, Queen Elizabeth, and Baltimore. So we'll be taking a look at the builds, and hopefully this gives you an idea whether you want to spend any money on the crates or not. So starting off with the Americans, we got the Baltimore character here. Base trait, improve your ship's steering. So that's applicable to all classes of ships. And, you know, I got it 14.1. It's 4.5 here. So it looks like it's probably going to max out at about 6% if you got it all the way up to level 16 and Legendary 4. Now keep in mind here, these Azur Lane and the other event commanders, you don't get them randomly in crates, of course, from commander crates. So you don't naturally get duplicates like you normally would. The only way to get them is to get the blue commendations, which are commonly found in campaigns, or if you have a fully maxed commander like no. Who do I got max? Cunningham over here, 16.4. Then if I get a duplicate Cunningham, then I could get blue commendations, which can be applied to the commanders. I do want to point out here, in case you don't know, you can get the duplicates here, and if you, of course, have one that's fully maxed, then you can just basically buy the blue commendations with blue stars. So getting back to the commanders here, the Baltimore one, the base trait, I'd say that's pretty strong. I got it currently on my Akizuki Tier 7 Japanese gunboat build, and if I ever get around to making a specialized Khabarovsk build, I'd probably put it on that. You can also conceivably put it on a lot of cruisers, or conceivably on every ship if you really want to go with a mobility build. So I'd say the base trait is pretty strong. Build itself here, it's kind of a hybrid between accuracy. Well, it's more of the offensive type cruiser commander. The special perk you get, slot 3 here, increase the pen, and it shortens the fuse. So honestly, the only ship I've really tested this character out on a lot is the actual Baltimore, and I think the guns perform a little bit better naturally outfitted as opposed to with the shortened fuse. You can get citadels on battleships a lot of times with the super heavy American heavy cruiser AP. I find overall less citadels is probably better. You could conceivably put this on the light cruisers and kind of pepper superstructures with AP. Or, you know, I know a lot of you guys actually use this commander a lot. Maybe you want to let us know in the comments the situations that you find this to shine. But in the limited amount of experience that I've played with this build, I actually prefer my standard Einstein build, which is focused on the AP. So Baltimore, in my opinion, better for the inspiration than the build, but I think some people will disagree with me. Hopefully we get some feedback on that one. Looking at Azur Lane Otago, this is probably, you can make a case as the best commander in the game currently. Base trait, reduced detection of torpedoes, and you can see if you get it fully maxed, that's negative 200 meters. Basically what this means is there's a hidden statistic in the game called reaction time. And what that is, briefly, is from the time that the torpedoes appear on the enemy screen until they reach the ship, that's how long your reaction time. So usually it's about 6 to 7 seconds, and I find doing the formulas that determine how long that actually is, this usually shaves off about a second or so. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when we're talking about 1/6 or 1/7, this is about a 15% on average reduction on the reaction time. Now, if you can compare that to most traits, you know, this is a 5% nearly maxed, you know, so most traits are going to get 4, 5, 6% type reduction. Here we're talking, you know, 10, 15, 20. It depends exactly on the torpedoes, but that's actually huge. That's one of the biggest influences of the game available in terms of base trait, and it's very strong. So I got this on a fair amount of my destroyer builds. Makes those torpedoes quite a bit more deadly. Usually in my destroyer builds that are focused on torpedoes, I have this on there. So in terms of base trait, extremely strong, one of the best in the game in my opinion, and commander build, outstanding. And what it has, the unique perk here, now it increases the difficulty of playing your Japanese cruisers, of course. Incoming damage plus 10%, but outgoing damage of the HE shells plus 10%, and fire chance plus 8. So this is a high risk, high reward type of build here. You got Ingenious in slot 1, you got the AP pen here, accuracy down here. So Atago is my go-to Japanese cruiser commander, and you guys know I really like the Japanese cruisers quite a bit. And base trait influences about probably half to 2/3 of my destroyer fleet. So if I'm going to pick one commander out of this entire batch, Atago would be my strongest recommendation. The other one for Japanese is this Fuso. Now this one, the base trait is increases the chance of your battleships HE shell catching fire. It does apply to secondaries, and that's why I got a lot of points in here. I like my secondary build on my Bismarck, my Grover, and I got it on the Missouri current, or not the Missouri, but the Massachusetts currently. That's basically all I really would recommend this for. I don't think it's actually that strong. I wouldn't normally recommend this, but if you're going for balls to the wall secondary build, you might as well boost the fire chance, because that's going to be a huge source of the damage out of there. In terms of the build over here, it's decent. You got more of an accuracy type of a build here. Unique trait here increases the ship's HP and reduces incoming damage. So kind of a tanky build there, but I don't think I really ever run this command or anything. I just have it leveled up for the base trade for the laughs. So that one I would say probably wouldn't necessarily want to target, but if you get it, then you got your German battleships going. You could continue or consider putting it on here. Azur Lane Nelson, I think most of the players, I got a lot of these Azur Lane Commanders, would consider this one of the strongest. Base trait, reduce incoming damage to your battleship, outstanding. You can put that on basically any battleship if you want. It's incoming damage, so that applies to torpedoes, planes, shells, whatever it is. Quite strong there. And the unique trait that I think most people probably use increases the damage quite a bit, 16% fully max, reduces the pen, okay, by 15%. So that, for me, having played a lot of the British battleships, I find that reduction in penetration leads to a lot of curious types of results when you're shooting the thing. So in the end of the day, I think most players with the Nelson would probably run it with this. I'm just in the minority. I just put it on the turret verse here. Other than that, it's hybrid. Now, back in the day, the first couple sets of event commanders, they had these hybrids where basically you had the accuracy traits here and the heals, which is extraordinarily strong. Now, they don't ever release any combo battleship commanders like that anymore. So this is one of the few that's available in the game. That alone makes it extremely strong. You get the extra 2 heals if you get it fully up to level 16. And you can put on the accuracy buffs, and again, you can pump up the damage quite a bit and reduce the penetration. So again, a lot of players would probably go with that. I just don't, at least currently, have it set up like that. But overall, Nelson, very strong. I don't usually use the base trade just because my usual battleship inspirations are Kedrov and Scharnhorst or Cunningham. We'll talk about Scharnhorst when we get to that one. But Nelson, very strong. You could definitely want to target that one. Belfast here. Most of my British cruisers have Fraser on there, but some of them that are, some of the British cruisers I think have some HE focus. So I guess I got Fraser currently set up for those. And then I got Belfast set up for the AP focused ones, which tend to be the light cruisers. Base trade, increased concealment when shooting from inside the smoke screen. That's not bad, actually, because the smoke fire penalty with cruisers, especially if you got a destroyer getting close to you, that can cause a lot of problems. So it's not a bad trait. It's not one you would put on anything except for the Brits. I don't see this as a good base trait to be pursuing. Now, it does affect the ship's concealment, but destroyers, that's irrelevant because the detection from firing in the smoke is very low, and battleships is extremely high. I mean, I guess I've never tested it out on battleships. That is a fairly big reduction, 20% if you get it max, but still they're going to have a hard time firing from concealed and smoke. So I don't put that on anything personally. You got Ingenious here, extremely strong. You got mobility, you got AP pen, and you can see this build is pure AP focused on here. So Belfast is fine. I'm not wowed by this one. It just gives me a little bit more to play with here. And if I didn't have Belfast, I'd probably be comfortable putting a similar build together with Tenet. So Belfast, decent, nothing to get too gung-ho about. Hood, Battleship Commander base trading, reduce incoming torpedo damage, which is interesting. This is also a hybrid commander, so this is strong. The only reason I haven't really used this is because I got a max Cunningham, I got a nearly max Nelson, and how many British battleship builds do I really need? Not that many. Oops. So that's why I haven't really put in any points in this one. But let's say I got Hood instead of Nelson. I just bought one or two of the crates, got Hood. I'd be fine pumping this one up because, again, you got the accuracy, you got the double heal. Base trade, decent. You know, a lot of battleship players hate getting torped, so that's not going to hurt. Again, I don't think I would necessarily go out of my way to level it up or acquire it just for the base trade. But overall, I'd say you can get a pretty good build out of a Hood. Queen Elizabeth, one of the newer batches. This one's essentially worthless in my opinion. Base trade increases a lot of things by a little bit. I don't think you're really going to notice much in terms of putting this on there. Clearly, I haven't leveled it up to any degrees, so maybe some people that have Queen Elizabeth leveled up can disagree with me in the comments. Certainly not a bad build. I mean, it's a pure brawler build. Again, this is post-hybrid Battleship Commander era, so we don't get that anymore. So we're looking at a brawler type build. Increase spotters duration, number of charges. Now you can potentially get an interesting build here if you paired it with the Godzilla Commander, which I think, yeah, reduces the spotter reload. I mean, that you can get some wonky kind of crazy builds potentially out of that. I don't want to get too deep into that because very few people are going to have the necessary commander builds available to put that together. But all in all, Queen Elizabeth, I've never given it any thought whatsoever. I mean, increasing all these things by a little bit isn't going to hurt you, but would you ever really notice it? Probably not, at least in my opinion. So Queen Elizabeth, if you get it, well, you can play around with the build. Germans. Now here we got Scharnhorst 16.2 on mine. You can see this is extremely valuable. Reduce your ship's main battery dispersion. Ships. So this is actually dispersion on any type of a ship. You typically want to put it first and foremost on the battleships. That's when the dispersion gets a little bit more wonky. I've always considered improving the dispersion more effective than increasing the grouping, which is what they've changed Cunningham's description to. It used to be precision, I believe. But overall, the better the dispersion, the tighter the universe of possibilities where those ships can go. And then grouping just basically affects how close those shells come together. So both of those good for your accuracy. But base trade, one of the strongest in the game. You know, and this is kind of a no-brainer. If you get the Scharnhorst, you should be feeling lucky about it. So from that alone, you know, it's worth considering trying to get the Scharnhorst. But you also get interesting build here. Now you can see it's more or less a brawler build. What's the unique perk? This torpedo thing. We get more speed and range. So I basically got this set up as a speed demon reload boosting thing. I run this on Scharnhorst. I think I get it on Tirpitz and Odin. Anything with the torpedoes on the German battleships. Get in there with the speed, hammer them with the guns with the quick reload, and then you get this torpedo, enhanced torpedo action. 5 knots is quite an increase there, and a good boost to the range as well. So I actually have a lot of fun with the Scharnhorst build. It's, you know, primarily once again, running it on those German battleships with the torpedoes. So if you don't have any of those, I wouldn't really worry about it in terms of getting it for a ship's commander. But again, base trait worth pursuing. One that you guys are always telling me about, I just haven't gotten around to putting points into it, Graf Spee. Now, base trade increased the amount of HP restored by repair party. Decent. Okay, I'm not going to go out of my way to level that up, but not bad, you know. But the interesting part about this, now this is a cruiser commander, reduce your cruiser's surface and air detection radius by quite a bit, actually. So the detectability looks like it would get down to -8, and then the air detection by a -20. So someday I will level this up and we'll test it out, but this would allow you a little bit more leeway with these German cruisers. or really any cruiser. Well, no, you just have to use it on the German cruiser, I guess, since it's part of the commander build. But you can get them in there for some sort of ambush style gameplay, and I think that's quite interesting. So I know a lot of you guys are always telling me that you like this one, and maybe if you got some experience with it, you can tell us in the comments so people that are considering getting these commanders can check that out. But that one's interesting in terms of the build. In terms of the base trait, not that interesting to me personally. Oh, Hipper, by the way. This is Azur Lane, yeah. So basically it's straight up Von Mueller build with Ingenious on there. I believe I got it set up more. Well, we got the speed option, so there's a little bit difference there, but Ingenious, if I got it available, I'm going to put it on there. It tells you if you're getting targeted, plus the traverse is much more valuable even than that. And then we got speed, AP pen here, and you can see like my Belfast build, just a straight up AP demon here. So there's a lot of fun here. Base trait, decent. Reduce burning damage to your ship. Some of you guys that hate getting HE spammed in the back, if you're buffing your duties in particular, you can put this on there. That'll reduce the damage that you're getting there. I mean, all battleships are going to be improved by reducing the burning damage. On your cruisers, sure, it's not going to hurt you, but do I really notice it? Who knows? Fire damage isn't as threatening to the cruiser. Usually if you're getting whacked a lot, by that time that fires would threaten you, you're already in enough trouble as it is. Dunkirk, we discovered this in the video yesterday. We had a Normandy game where we saw this one in action. Happened to just put it together the night before, and then, in the morning I woke up and the commanders were actually available, so some of you guys thought it was good luck in terms of that. But base trade here, reduce flooding damage to your ship, not bad. Again, you can consider putting that primarily on the battleships if you're having a lot of problems getting torped a lot. My philosophy has always been, if you got a flood that's stuck on your ship, i.e. you don't have damage control available anytime soon, you're already dead anyway. So yeah, getting a negative 20% to the flood damage would potentially save you, but I'm not that wowed by the base trait. Now, once again, hybrid, we do have the accuracy perks here. We do have the megalomania as well on the French battleships. We got the heal, so once again, this is Gen 1 Azur Lane accuracy builds. And one of the strongest perks in the game. This is the only build you're going to find it on. Switch the type of ammo that you got in your guns. Negative 95% time once you get up to level 12.2, Legendary 2. What that means in practice, if you got it, and you can see it in the game we posted yesterday, if you got those battleship guns, you load in HE, then you got, I got a broadside target there. Rather than taking the 30 seconds or 25 seconds or whatever it would to switch manually over to those AP shells like you normally would, or usually what we would do is discharge our load on our opponents, hit them with that HE, and then switch over the AP on the reload. That's the normal means of switching shells, and usually the ships are going to be reacting by the time. So you miss a lot of opportunities for that type of damage. But here we can basically instantly switch those shells. I think it starts off with like 25, 50, 75, then it goes up to 95. So you can boost this up relatively easily, but it's outstanding. I mean, if I got AP loaded and the destroyer pops up next to me, boom, switch over to HE, it's ready to go, pop them. Okay, or likewise, if we got AP loaded and then the battleship we're fighting tightens up their angle, we're not going to get much damage with our lower caliber French guns. Switch it over to HE, splash them in the eye with that. So very, very powerful. The trick is you got to remember, just because it's not available on any other build, I got to kind of pay attention and make sure I'm using that to its fullest effect. So that one very strong, base trade decent, nothing I would pursue, but actual build very strong. No Japanese ladies in the Soviet army or the Italian army. So you can make a case for all of them. I'm not going to say any of these commanders are that bad, but if I'm targeting these guys individually, I'd say the Azur Lane Atago for destroyer players is the strongest, probably destroyer trait after Bay, and for battleships in particular, but you can put it on. I got it on some cruiser builds as well. The Scharnhorst, extremely strong build there, good build, and then Nelson, a lot of people love that one as well. So there's a few of them that are very, very strong, and there's a few of them that are kind of middle of the road, and then really the only one that doesn't send a tingle up my leg is this Queen Elizabeth. Again, the spotter duration, it's kind of a niche build that I've never actually pursued, but maybe someday when we're run out of stuff to put our promotion orders into. Anyway, that's a look at those commanders for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. We got lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, link below. Hopefully myself or others can get around to answering those for you. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.